بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين وصلوات الله وسلامه على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك يا رب الكريم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. So it's great to be back home. How many weeks? Bas? Isn't it? 3. I think 3. I think 3 weeks. 3 weeks, right?
29th of March was the last lesson.
No, it wasn't.
Sorry, 4th of April.
No, it wasn't. There was a lesson last week. But the one was the last time I was here. Don't just make out there's no lessons when I'm not here. What are you badnaming for? What are you badnaming me for, Yara?
4th of April.
Is it? 11th? 18th? So is that 3 weeks? Does that work out as 3 weeks? 2 lessons, 3 weeks. Okay, no problem. Anyway, it's good to be back, and I wanted to, I'm very happy because I've seen many happy things. So I wanted to mention all these happy things, okay? And I want to use a word that Sheikh Walid, we're very lucky to be joined by Sheikh Walid for this class, and he'll share a few insights towards the end, inshallah. But he has, because coming from America, he's introduced a word for me to use, but I needed permission, so I asked Shazad for permission, and he's given me permission to use the word. The word is yay. Okay? Yani, yay. That yay. You said that it's okay to use. You said that it's okay to use in a restricted environment where people don't get the wrong idea too much. Anyway, so I want to say that first of all, congratulations and lots of claps and yay to Bobby J for his little girl, mashallah. And obviously she's now she was not well. She went into very serious had the operation, and alhamdulillah she's back home. Now double triple yay for anything Bobby J, because that means we get like the world's biggest I'm gonna do my blacking again, yeah? Oof. Right, so I don't even know what's happening. I think even the tissues are weighing like 2 kilos. Okay, so obviously banda, I like this. This is banda theek is zabardast banda theek, and this is good that he looks after the people, the masjid, and nidafa. I'm looking at you because I know that you people don't care about these things. Yeah, I know. Yeah, so he has brought. I thought the man's gonna cook something in the shop, some chops, a few cake, shake, whatever. By the way, there's a debate going on. Very important that we clarify this debate. I am saying that it's cake make, dal mal, qam. But all the packs are saying it's cake shake, qam sham, whatever, whatnot. So it's a ma versus sha. So where's it at? Where's the truth? So that's because you're all Punjabis, that's why. That's because you're all racist. You're all racist. Yeah, so what are you then? Yeah, the same thing, Mem and Punjabi. What is Mem and Punjabi? What's the difference between them? So anyway, the point is that you're all racist against Pathans. Pathans say meme. Who? Shah. What's Shah? What do you mean? You're Pathan. Get out of here. Which Pukhtun says Shah? Give me one example in Pukhto where they say Shah. Can you hear that? The guy puts his hand up, he goes, no, I'm Pukhtun, it's Shah. I said, give me one example because I can't speak Pukhto. Qasmi, unbelievable. That's just another level. I can't believe that level of just... No. Anyway, forget it, doesn't matter. So, round of applause for Bob's, because he's bought 6 types of chocolate and I don't know how many types of donut. I don't know what's happening here, bro. What's the plan here? You've got some celebrations and everything, and this goes to show that even if you don't like fiqh, just come to the masjid. Yep. Even if you don't like Sheikh Abdul Ghafar's recitation or the fact that he's never here, still come to the masjid, isn't it? It's a good thing. Yeah. Okay. What happens to this here, Bobs? How do we deal with this? Take it home. Yeah. This is for my happiness, isn't it? Is this my I was about to say this is my gift for me coming back. But I didn't want to press that because I should be bringing some stuff back, isn't it? So let's not go there too far, okay? So we'll work out some time for that. What else we want to say? Congratulations to Farah. MashaAllah, she did an awesome job at the conference in Leeds and in London. I saw her, walking around looking all important. I don't know what she was doing, but she's certainly got a headset and walkie-talkie, and to be honest, didn't see anything done. But it looked like she was very important. She refused to wear the t-shirt and the uniform and the whatever. And those normally are the supervisor folks, isn't it? Yeah, those folks who refuse to wear the uniform. I know, I've been there. You know what I'm saying? Definitely, it's important to wear your own clothes. It shows any seniority. So she was definitely wearing her own clothes. I think indicated something. Who else we want to? Yeah, we definitely want to give a big round of applause to Widad, who was a superstar on Saturday and Sunday. We're going to show you some footage now of. So I wish I had some footage, but just the terror that ran through your veins just right now that you thought that I caught some footage. You see, because I was quite surprised as well. After I finished my lecture on both days, actually, well, obviously I wasn't surprised on the second one, but on the first one, as I finished my lecture, the LP trailer started playing. I don't know who requested that, whatever, I guess in Shazad, who's obviously still so knackered out from presenting that he didn't even bother coming. Yeah, okay. Dr. Shazad Amin, not Shazad Salim. Yeah, he's in London. He's a black guy. He's not doing nothing. Anyway, so the LP trailer started, and of course, Widad became superstar. Everyone was listening and whatnot. At that moment, we should have had a camera on Widad because she was dying and going under the seat and whatnot. And in London, there could have been an even better opportunity for a bigger bestie, because she didn't want to do the voiceover for that advert, but I forced her to. And so you know what? She's now a superstar. She owes me, isn't it? But she did well. Who else can we give a round of applause to? Round of applause to Shazad Salim for turning up. Yeah, he apparently had a difficult day to come, so I think that's also important. Round of applause for Shafiq in front of me, because he was part of my Umrah group that just went and we came back. We survived. Yep, no Iranians, which is brilliant. Yeah, absolutely amazing. This is the greatest thing ever now going to the Haram these days. None of them doing anything to pollute the place, which is brilliant. What else are we happy about? We're happy for Sheikh Walid to be with us. That's a definitely yay moment. Yeah. Anything else? Khalas. The translation is complete. The translation is complete. Yeah, that's Allahu Akbar moment in itself. That's an absolute yay. I tell you, instead of yay, what we should be saying is yaya. We should say like this. I'm going to do my best impersonation now. Okay, give me 1 second. Benteke, yaya. I'm telling you now that when my man scored, the winner against Liverpool, I just have that thing going on in my mind. I'm not gonna lie. I had a great weekend. It was a great Saturday. It was an even better Sunday. Liverpool losing and gonna get knocked out top 4 is gonna be the greatest moment of this year. But Amin not here to witness it, so that's the sad part. Anyway, Baharhal, look at all these people trying to diss me. Right? Okay, come on, Yara, bring up the old. Also, we're very happy to have Sheikh Abdul Ghaffar back. That's also very nice. You guys wouldn't have noticed, but he went away. And if there's one thing that Sheikh Abdul Ghaffar, but I think the only person who knows, but let me just tell you that I hate nearly more than anything else in the world. Maybe 2 notches down from how much I hate Katie Hopkins, but something maybe a little bit down, is that I am here and Sheikh Abdul Ghaffar is on holiday. That's the worst feeling in the world. And the best feeling in the world is that when I'm not here, I'm out of the country, and so's he. And that when I come back, he's here. And I feel so happy and relaxed. Just wanted to share that with you. So it's a great moment to see that he's here. So do you guys want to do some fiqh today?
The best
Huh?
When I'm here, you are on holiday out of the country, and Sharafatullah is here.
Oh, Sheikh Abdul Ghaffar, in a unfortunate jab to my mid-region, he said, you know what my best moment is, my happiest moment. He goes, when you're not here and your father is. There's no need for that, is there? we was keeping it all friendly and all, above board. There was no need for such an ungentlemanly conduct. Be'adabi, isn't it? Unbelievable. Yeah, upset me now. Now how am I going to teach? Okay. We are in a new section, folks. Okay. It is this paragraph selected, Ya Shahzad Salim. Do Do you even know? That's the question. Yeah, find it. Go on. Yeah, you're cussing me for notes. Yeah, find it. Go on.
Oh, you will find it. Okay, one second.
Hey, tell Banda the Arabic. Skin, bichara. Yara, help him out, Zafar.
Put him on the spot.
Oh, wait, why am I on the second one?
You tell me 1 second. We're gonna wait all day for you to find the text.
We'll
وَيَحْرُمُ.
wait 2 months for the notes.
Well, yeah.
So the day's not bad then, is it?
It's the bottom paragraph. That one right there. That one. Yep, that one. Okay. So the Mu'allif, he says, ويحرم استعمال منسوج أو مموه بذهب قبل استحالته وثياب حرير وما هو أكثر ظهورا على الذكور لا إذا استويا ولضرورة أو حكة أو مرض أو حرب in our copy of the text أو حشوا أو كان علما 4 أصابع فما دون أو رقاعا أو لبنة جيب وسجف فراء ويكره المعصفر والمزعفر للرجال. I just want to show you something in Arabic. Go back up, Shaz. If you have previous sets of notes that you have downloaded, as opposed to whatever, I want you to be careful, because if you just arba'a, if you can just select that, the second, the last line, the last word in the second line, Shaz. Okay, this in the previous one has arba'a asabi'a. It should be arba'u asabi'a. It has been corrected here. Why is it not selecting, Shaz?
The board is over here, it's over
Okay, all right. So they see it online.
here. Yeah, it's in online.
They will see it online. So that's, yeah, أو كان علما 4, you used to say before, and more correct is أو كان علما 4 أصابع. The translation of that. Sick translation, Bismillah, mashallah. But say mashallah, don't put nazar on my translation, and then later it all turns out wrong. Okay? So, up, Shaz? No, the other way, up, yeah. So, garments, this is the translation of the text. Garments that have been knitted or plated with gold are impermissible, unless it has undergone a transformation, meaning the gold. Garments made of silk, or that which the majority of it appears to be from silk, are also impermissible for men, except in the following cases. If the amount of silk and non-silk is equal, for a necessity of some sort, darura, for itching, for medical conditions, yani maraz, okay, in war, for use as stuffing, in embroidery, which is 4 finger widths or less, for patches, for bordering, for bordering. Okay, these are the exceptions. And then a new line, new section. It is disliked to wear yellow and saffron dyed garments. The dyed is incidental, to be honest, just saffron and yellow. Okay, so we'll talk about that when we get to it in terms of colors and things like that. You got to understand something, by the way. All right, for the last few, we call obviously the class logical progression, and you will see some level of discipline in that when folks ask questions that I know are coming up later or should be coming up later, because why do I say should? You might say you should know, and you're doing it, you've taught it, you studied it, but actually that's not the case, because what I always try to do with the class is that I'm not beforehand, like 3-4 weeks in advance, I'm not sure just how much I can put on to the text itself. So you saw what I did with the last kind of couple of lines. I've put the full works on. I put on makeup and cosmetics and pictures and models, and I did the full thing. But the text itself just says وَيَحْرُمُ التَّصْوِيرُ وَاسْتِعْمَالُهُ. Yeah. So I mean that logically, when we go through this text, there are certain things that will come in its right time that get dealt with properly at that right time. So for example, on the issue of colors, then it will be its right time to deal with that. There is no other later section in this entire text, all 15 volumes, one volume of the Zad al-Mustaqni itself, the text itself, the matan, where colors come into the game. And I knew that cosmetics was not going to come up, and makeup and pictures. So that's why we went into so much immense detail last time. You can also see the difference in quality. So for example, I mentioned slightly, and I made the mistake of doing that, like maybe a couple of months ago, we were talking about clothes and whether it's possible to pray with clothing that had things, and I said, cover it, etc. I gave a very basic answer, which was one of safety. Yet when we come to the actual class, the text itself, and we're going to now overload it with everything to do with pictures, you saw that I said it's permissible to wear Lacoste polo and pray with it, even though it is showing. Even though I said that to go against, to go in line with our principle of being safe side, then to cover it is going to be better. However, if a person is in that case, the prayer is permissible, because it is إلا رقما في الثوب, as we covered the hadith, except if there is something small, a small logo or small picture on the thobe. So you see the difference in quality. So I think it's important that you understand that we take certain subjects and we load them at that time, even though you guys might want a detailed answer beforehand. Best to wait for it then, and it's better in quality. Right, okay, let's talk about this then. It is impermissible to use garments that have been knitted or plated with gold. Okay, this is referring to men, first of all, alright, not females. Females are allowed to use gold unrestrictedly. Okay, unrestrictedly. Now, Shaykh Uthaymeen, he basically says, mansukh bil-dhahab is that thing which has been stitched with gold thread. It doesn't matter whether this is on the entire thobe or just on the collar, on top of page 209. كالطوق مثلا أو طرف الكم, so the cuff, okay, أو في أي موضع لعموم قول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أحل الذهب والحرير لإناث أمتي وحرم على ذكورها. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said that gold and silk has been made permissible for the females of my nation, and it has been prohibited upon its males. Okay, it has been prohibited upon its males. This hadith has been narrated by Imam Ahmad and An-Nasa'i and so on and so forth. And I want to say to you that, as you can see in the text of Sharh al-Mumti', that there's a huge amount of discussion over this hadith, and that is because in its asanid there are some inconsistencies, and also in its text. However, there is no difference of opinion whatsoever in the authenticity of the meaning of this narration and the other more authentic narrations that make it clear that gold and silver is impermissible for men. This is a consensus point, rather. Okay, there is absolutely no difference of opinion on this matter. Right. So I want to talk a little bit about something before we get into what Shaykh Uthaymeen gets into, because he's now going to go in big time into the issue of beautification, gold, and effeminate kind of realities. So the first thing I just want to clarify, because I'm not an expert in this whatsoever, you'll be really surprised to hear, is gold stitching and threading. Is that a thing? Yeah? How did they make the thread out of gold?
So my grandmother had this shalwar that has gold thread on it. It's embroidered with.
So what, is the thread itself plated?
Yeah, the thread seems to be gold plated.
So how is it flexible?
I don't know, but when they take the stitching down, they actually take it to the jewelers who melts it down. So you can actually get the gold back from the cloth and the embroidery by melting it down. So it's actually
Ajib. Okay, there you go. So that's the thing, and people do that. Okay, all right.
I see a lot of bridal clothes in Pakistan as well. They spend a lot of money, and that's gold plated. The design.
Right. Okay, so
This guy over here, he had a gold shirt made.
and you got battered to death as well, which is more interesting for me. Yep. I'll teach him a lesson, isn't it? We do not advocate any capital punishment in this. There's gold thread in the Kaaba. I don't know how they make it so flexible. I always understood that it was very thin gold on thread. I don't know what else is gold thread. What else is gold thread other than gold on thread?
I mean, it could just be like a gold wire that is so thin that it just is really flexible.
And that's flexible, of course. because obviously it's used in as you said, wires. Okay, maybe, but I don't think I don't think that's the case. And the only reason I say that is because why would you use gold thread? So you can see that it looks like gold thread. If you were to, if you were to sew it with gold wire, then it wouldn't look like a wedding dress. It'd look like something that weirdo with Vivienne Westwood would have just created. Some kind of, way overpriced, haute couture class, yeah? Alright, anyway. So, that's just, okay, go on then, Chaz, yeah, go on, gold thread manufacture. Can make sure everyone can hear it. Can everyone hear it?
Oh, right, you want me to put it on here.
What's the point of doing that if we can't hear it?
Showing you first, 1 second
Play it, huh?
there.
If you don't know how to do it, just play it, so that I can see it. Everyone else doesn't matter. So it is real thread. No, it is gold thread. At least, maybe you can give them the URL and then they can watch it themselves. But okay, it's clear that they're making actual real gold thread. So that must mean that the gold thread is so. But gold, obviously, one of its highest characteristics or its best characteristics for why it's so sought after is that it's extremely malleable. You can do everything to it. So I guess that's what's going on. All right, and there's a guy obviously wearing it, and there's the point. There is a particular, and actually this is good. Did they see? Are they able to see that?
I can put it on for them.
No. Did they see it?
No.
Nothing, no pictures from it at all.
No, nothing. I can put it on.
So okay, what I just saw was not just also gold thread, but also gold embroidery, and I think that's important because we're going to be coming to that in a second. Yeah, that's fine. So what's the problem? What's the author saying? That we cannot be using gold thread and we can't be using gold plating. Okay, gold plating on the actual cloth. Now, this is for males. What about gold plating for watches? Because we know that it is impermissible for males to wear the full shabam as well. Right? What does Sheikh say? He says, why does this hadith that gold and silver has been allowed for the females of my nation and prohibited for its males? ولأن الرجل ليس بحاجة إلى أن يتحلى بذهب. We're going to get now some awesome politically correct sickness right now. Okay, this is like, this is, I think, the smackdown. He goes, men are in absolutely no need whatsoever to decorate themselves with gold. إذن إنه, okay, this is the sixth statement. إنه يتحلى له ولا يتحلى هو لأحد. He goes, they are beautified for, they don't beautify themselves for nobody. What a sick statement. What a shot. My guy is a boss. أقول لك شيخ وليد, listen to the statement that your sheikh has said. الرجل إنه يتحلى له ولا يتحلى هو لأحد. If he said that in America, Sheikh, what would happen? He'd be fired. Fire Sheikh Uthaymeen. So, anyway, obviously I'm not going to comment about that because that's far too politically incorrect for someone who is so, mashallah, I'm so gender, whatever the word is, myself. Okay, I can't say that. But then, of course, this is his interpretation. I just want to say to you that this ayah is an incredibly interesting one and do not open it right now. Okay, don't say anything about it right now. And this is because what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, في وصف الأنثى, in describing females, أو من ينشأ في الحلية وهو في الخصام غير مبين. I mentioned this ayah last week and the week before. And the translation can be someone talking about females, and that's of course a discussion, is the ayah talking about females or not, but that's the majority. Someone, meaning females, who is brought up amongst hilya. People, one of the translators translated it as trinkets. Someone has translated it as ornaments. Someone has translated it as beauty. I don't know how to translate this. I know exactly what the ayah is trying to say. It's trying to say that يعني they are cultivated, females are cultivated into beauty, right? Meaning that beauty surrounds them and is part of their actual tarbiyah. It's like an intrinsic part of their raising, that they recognize beauty, they beautify things, they are whatever. You know, I tell you something, by the way. I have to say it because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hears and knows everything. I was harsh on Shaykh Uthaymeen last week. I think last week or the week before. You know, I said that I mentioned that dolls, that girls play with dolls. And I said, Shaykh Uthaymeen said that we give a concession to young girls because it gets them ready for motherhood. Yeah?
Last week.
Yeah, last week, yeah. And it gets them ready for motherhood. And I said, I don't know about that. That's a bit kind of, patriarchal, a bit backward, this, that, whatever. The truth of the matter is that, I mean, I have girls, but I didn't really kind of think about this until the other day. And I see Hiba, my youngest, 2, she's just turned 3. And she's got a baby thingy, and my days, man, she loves that thing. And she's cleaning its backside, and she's giving it milk, and she's clothing it, and whatnot, okay? And I can tell you now that was there in the house, and the other boys didn't do anything like that. I'm just talking about my own household, where there was no kind of pressure to, on what toys to choose and to play with. So it clearly there is something there, internal. I don't know where it works, how it comes, but there's something with girls that they genuinely, when they get hold of a doll, they start to go into mother kind of mode, right? So, and I said that, I don't know, Shaykh Uthaymeen, maybe that's the Saudi culture that I'm seeing it at home in my own house, here. How can I blame that kind of culture when it's so prevalent here? So I take that back if that sounded a bit harsh. So here, what is being stated, that they are yunasha'u fil hilya, that they grow up surrounded by ornaments and things of beauty, and they always, like, you don't say to a boy, you look so beautiful, but the girls are always being told day and night, absolute all the time. I don't say anything else except Hiba comes and she twirls around in her whatever, oh, you look so beautiful, she gets so happy and she goes. I don't know where that came from. I certainly didn't intentionally create this, but she wants, and she comes and she will say to me, Baba, you look beautiful. I know that sounds shocking to you guys, but it's just accept it for its on its own merits, okay? And so there's obviously something there that throughout life, likewise, she feels the need, and that is correct to say, to add forms of beautification. She feels a desire to use makeup. It's not like she's forced to use makeup or forced to use jewelry. Whereas a male never has that desire or need. Don't look at today's kind of metrosexual kind of guy or the whole gay scene, as your asl. You look at your basic male kind of reality.
Is that based on the daughter following the mother and the boys following the father?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
No,
And TV and everything.
So TV's Western here. I mean, TV is the worst thing. Believe me, I've been watching more CB. Bro, if you're watching CBBS 24/7, yeah, which I do, by the way, okay, all of the adverts. Now, first of all, there are no adverts on CBBS. What I'm talking about, like even the other channels like Disney and Teen Tots and all that kind of stuff, yeah. Their adverts are also controlled by the whole kind of whatever makes more money and who's got a bigger budget. And that those guys, they go all out. You're not seeing responsible parenting in the adverts of or trying to promote this kind of motherly kind of role for kids. It's all about whatever's cool and how we can make some money, right? So before, yes, I remember watching a program that used to compare the adverts of 50 years ago in black and white versus the ones that are now, and you can see that society was very much playing a major role in the advertising. So it was very much good for business to promote the female as a female, for example. Now, are you flipping kidding me? There's a Time magazine in the foyer of the masjid. I don't know whether someone's put them there. I think I know who puts them there. He reads them, then he leaves it in the masjid because he likes people to read, which is good. Except that the one that he put on top of the pile is a woman who looks like a man, and it's saying that is he or she, or do we need to create a third role? And I'm like, this is obviously the big thing at the moment. Allow kids to to, create their own gender determination nonsense, baqwas, yani, yeah. So I'm just saying that you know what it is? That's a nonsense, and we've got to be very strong and clear about this idea of kids determine their own gender and that rubbish. Okay, that's the liberal baqwas. And in fact, both my lectures on Saturday and Sunday, both of my lectures were effectively controlled or inspired by the rise of this gender rubbish, this gender determination nonsense. Yeah, so we can't continue like that. Yeah, Sheikh. The reality of us trying to say that we need to be fairer to girls, or we need to be afraid of what the school says and all this kind of nonsense, absolute rubbish. Got to make it very, very clear who people are, who the kids are, what their identity is, and make sure that they are able to be confident in exactly who they are, and not the messages that they might be getting from school. Anyway, the point is that there is something natural and genetic and whatever you want to call it, that clearly a woman, she goes towards that direction, even though frankly, men, there are of different types. Some men really insist on that kind of thing, but many don't, and many get very tired of that whole scene. And women are just, they're sometimes not so sure. Is it really? Do they want me to do this? Do they want me to do that? So the whole thing's a mess. Anyway, so then Sheikh will continue. I'm going to translate word for word so that it's clear that you don't cuss me and that you see where the words are coming. So he says, A yurabba fil hilya. Okay, so they are literally brought up and they grow up in adornments, ornaments, trinkets, beautification. It's their whole life. And the woman, she's the one التي تحتاج إلى أن تتزين وتتحلى. She's the one who needs, Sheikh Uthaymeen says, to beautify herself and to adorn herself with things. As for the men, it's not necessary for him to break رجولته, his manliness, with this kind of stuff, right? So Sheikh Uthaymeen obviously is going for an idea that the picture of the male, certainly in Saudi culture at that time, 20 years ago, odd, is this kind of rugged, male, rough, not into beautification and cutting and, the things that we associate with Mr. Metrosexual, Mr. kind of whatever today, who is modeling clothes, yeah, and so on. So he shouldn't break his manliness to the level that he descends to the point of women who have to change the softness of the material that they wear to go with their nature, their nature, and the wearing of gold, and so on and so forth. And he said, Sheikh Uthaymeen continues, he goes, as for the prohibition here, then this is obviously referring to all forms of gold. So Sheikh Uthaymeen says that anything that a person wears is impermissible, whether that is a ring of gold or a necklace of gold or a chain, silsila, or khursan, earrings, or anything which is similar to that. So all forms of jewelry, any forms of the clothes, it is impermissible. And that's because the Prophet ﷺ said in Sahih Muslim on the hadith of Abdullah ibn Abbas that the Messenger of Allah ﷺ, he saw a khatiman min dhahabin fi yadi rajul. He saw a ring, a gold ring on the hand of a man, and so he فَنَزَعَهُ فَطَرَحَهُ. He took it off and he threw it away. And the Prophet ﷺ said that, would you want one of you to grab a coal from the fire and hold it in his hand? Would any one of you actually intentionally go and do that? Would you be so crazy to do that? I.e., you wearing gold as a male effectively is doing that. You're literally picking up something like that and holding it. Okay? So after the Prophet ﷺ had left, then a man said to the one who had it ripped off his finger, pulled off his finger, he said, Yalla, go and get your ring and at least take some benefit from it. Melt it down, sell it. And he said, La wallahi, I swear by Allah, no, I will never ever touch that or take it after the Messenger of Allah has thrown it away. So that of course was the ittiba of the Prophet. Anyway, to continue, and then he says anything which is gold plated, mumawwahin bidhahab قبل استحالته. So anything which is gold plated in any kind of way. So I don't think of gold, don't think of armor. Think of, these, that the Indian guy you just saw. Did they see it?
No.
No, you can put it on the phone.
Yeah, when you show me a picture, you gotta show it to them, man. What are you showing it to me for? So you saw that Indian guy, someone beat him to death for some reason, I don't know why. Because of the gold? Anyway, you'll see it in a minute. He's got all kind of gold, sherwani, gold. Huh?
The shirt was made of gold.
The shirt was made of gold and it looks like it's plated and whatnot. So obviously not just thread, but gold being expressed in its own kind of other ways. Alright? But then the Sheikh says something interesting which I found also nice. Okay? So there's my man. Obviously he's lost the plot completely, as you can see. Huh? Birsab? Huh? Mr. T. He's more than Mr. T. That guy's crazy, bro. I don't know. I bet anyone walks around looking like that. So obviously this kind of thing. But he said قبل استحالته. Sheikh Uthaymeen says that this is an interesting addition to the point. Meaning, istihala, of course, as we said, is a change so significant that it doesn't resemble what it was before. Okay? Now, how does gold change? You've got, where's the chemical kind of guys here? Who's the thingy? Right? Gold doesn't change. You can burn gold, right? It doesn't change. It's not like gelatin or whatever that you add, something to it. Okay? Gold will, that it will completely lose its original nature. Gold will only change when you add things to it. Okay? However, what will change with gold, which is really interesting, is that if you burn it enough, you will burn off its color. Okay? And Sheikh Uthaymeen here says that if there was a long length of time that had passed, a huge length of time, because gold obviously is very stable, very inert, okay, so it doesn't react with anything, right? So he goes, لو أنه مع طول الزمن تآكل وذهب لونه, that it started to wear away and the color had gone, and its remaining color now is not the color of gold. And if it was then a person tried to kind of mold it, try to mold it again, and it stretches, and then you kind of bring it out, and you can't bring the gold kind of reality out and its color out, then this is permissible to wear. Okay, now here's the interesting thing that came to me. Obviously gold is not always gold colored, and I don't know how white gold is white. I've never seen it. It looks like silver, right? Okay. So the problem with that, now I can't remember the percentages. If I remember correctly, it has nickel, which has been molded to it as an alloy, which turns it into white gold. Okay. But the dominant ingredient, what's the word I'm looking for? Dominant substance, is actual gold itself, proper pure gold. So the point here is this: according to Sheikh Uthaymeen, there's two characteristics that would be istihala of gold: the color going, and when it's molded, it does not become molded, it's not malleable like gold. So white gold would still be impermissible, because even though it hasn't got the yellow color of gold or the golden color of gold, it still is malleable, and you're able to deal with it. It doesn't become brittle, for example, etc., like gold. I think that's very interesting. Right, then Sheikh then says, وَثِيَابُ حَرِيرٍ, and therefore also silk clothes. And this is, Sheikh Uthaymeen says, pure silk. And when he says pure silk, he means by that natural silk. He goes that it is definitely meaning natural silk and not artificial silk, because pure silk comes only from the silkworm, and that is ghali wa na'im. It is incredibly, it is expensive, rare, and it is something which in its touch, in its feel, you can tell immediately that this is the real deal. So of course now Shaykh Uthaymeen is making a statement, and it is clear from his fatwa, I know that very well, that he was one of those scholars that allowed artificial silk. Okay, now this is interesting. This is a discussion of the fuqaha, of course, that is it something which the illah, right, for prohibition, is the illah for prohibition the fact that it's silk, and so if it's not silk, then surely it's allowed? Or is it the expression? Is the illah that it is creating a feeling, a reaction, a desire? And I have to say to you, personally speaking, Okay, even though I accept that Sheikh Uthaymeen's position is the correct position, okay, that artificial silk is permissible, I think it needs to have restrictions. Okay, now our major exposure to artificial silk is in ties for males. Nothing really else than that. It doesn't come as shirts. People don't get artificial silk shirts and anything else, as far as I know. Anyone know anything different? Artificial silk used mostly for males? Ties, yeah? Okay, so I think in that sense, I think Shaykh Uthaymeen's fatwa is spot on. And the use of a tie is a very minimal kind of reality. It's not something which is touching the skin. It is on top of another piece, which is very, very important, that you will see in a second. Okay, so for me, I'm comfortable with that. But I don't want people to walk away with the idea that artificial silk al-itlaq yani is permissible. In my opinion, I mean. Okay, even though Shaykh Uthaymeen's opinion is very clear. And actually, many of the scholars support this. That if it's not silk, it's not silk. It doesn't matter what it looks like. Whereas I'm trying to say that what if we are able to reach a stage soon to create a artificial silk fabric that is worn on the skin, which no one can determine whether it's real or not. Do you understand what I'm saying? Shaykh Uthaymeen will say it doesn't matter, it's not real silk. It didn't come from a silkworm. The expert will be able to look at it. He'll say it's not that value, it's not that this, that, whatever. I say that's what the expert will tell, but what's the actual reason that this is prohibited? It's effeminate behavior, it's what it creates in you. And if you study, I mean, when I was in Pakistan recently, it wasn't the first time, but I was really exposed, okay, to the culture of transgender kind of folks, okay. I don't mean hermaphrodites. Have I said that right then? Not cross-dressers or transgender is what's transgender?
Cross-dressers are like males who will dress as a female.
What's a transgender?
Transgender is they
Hermaphrodite.
want women and they want to look like women.
No, no,
But they may have done the surgery or not, depends on what stage they're at.
Oh, so they've had physical surgery.
Not necessarily. They would consider themselves a transgender female even without the surgery. Either because
They feel like that.
Yeah.
Right, got you.
I think
Yeah.
transgender is physical.
So meaning they're not hermaphrodites, are they?
No.
Yeah, okay, good. So then transgender is the word I want. So transgender and cross-dressing folks, okay, in Pakistan, it is shooting through the roof. So we have this issue of hermaphrodites, okay? Hermaphrodites have been existing in our culture and in our fiqh, our books are full of that, and dealing with that reality and that issue and so on and so forth. We've covered that in so much detail 2 years ago. But what's happening now, and it's a massive increase actually in countries like Pakistan, is that there are completely normal people, or I don't know if they're normal or not, but they are cross-dressing and coming out as transgender people. And the reason for that is charity. Because they get more sadaqah than your standard normal folks.
So it's not something you might be exposed to. It's not something
Yeah, I'm saying this was for me. That's why I said for me it was the first time that I was exposed to this kind of reality, meaning that I was looking out for it. People were telling me, and I started to notice. It's like that, you don't see a car until you want to buy that car. Then every single car that you see on the street is that car, right? That's the point. So now that I'm seeing everyone like that, it's everyone's a flipping hermaphrodite or transgender, whatever. I couldn't get out of my head. Yesterday I was on Ilford Lane. Yeah, obviously I was brought up on Ilford bloody Lane. Okay, it was a nice lane. It was like a nice Wilmslow Road. I was driving, and you know the sign that comes up on the motorway that says slow down or 50, or the LED one that changes. Don't drink and drive. If you're tired, put up. So there's a big one of those on the pavement of Ilford Lane, and it suddenly says, warning, curb crawling is illegal. I thought, bloody hell, curb crawling on Ilford Lane and a flipping big dirty kick-off sign on the pavement. Yeah? Well, after that, of course, I'm looking at every single woman on the left-hand side thinking, is this person one of those? Is this person one of those? Every single person now I'm looking at. And we pulled up and parked up to go into a shop, to go into to get to eat. And whilst we're in the car just making a decision, there's a woman there. She was like standing outside the car. No, she didn't say nothing to us at all. Okay, but she was waiting. And I said to my man, is that what I think it is? He goes, I don't know. I go, what's happened to this bloody road? We went in, we ate, we come back out, she's still there. I said, yeah, it puts you in a whole point of paranoia. Yeah, and Miskina, she might have just been waiting for whoever. right? But now every single woman that I saw on Ilford Lane, it was a potential, whatever. So I just want to say that I think that people lose the plot when you start to mentally think of something, right? In any case, the point is that these transgender folks, whatever, you can see that they really, really push gold and silk to try and help them actually come across. Their voice is not like, hey, gay bakwas, yeah? That's not their normal voice. That's not a normal voice. I mean, is that, if you were to slap one, I'm not saying you go and slap one, but I'm saying if you were, you would say, oi! That's what you'd say. He would say, oi!
I think they use somebody.
He wouldn't say that. You know what I'm saying?
They use somebody.
Yeah? They might. But the point is that, it's that old trick, when someone's trying to pretend, that he's not the person who called his name out, all of a sudden he turns around. When you catch someone off guard, that's their natural reality. So what helps create that persona? It is these things. There's no doubt about it. And once you have all this kind of softness, blah, blah, then you got a problem. Right. That's in the clothes. I think all men understand that and they're happy to move on from that. We can use artificial silk ties. They're nice designs in there. It's nothing to do with feel. You never feel it. You never see it. It's on top of your clothes. No problem at all with that. But I think if you come across an artificial silk shirt, I want to say to you that even many of the scholars, even those that said it's permissible, many of them said that out of ihtiyat, you should avoid it. You need to avoid thinking. But I'm not going to say it's haram. Yeah.
I was going to say I've got 2 questions, but
Private joke.
Is it more? You've got 2 things there. So you've got the feel.
Yep.
And you've got the look.
Yep.
If it's underwear, for example, you might feel it, but you're not going to see it.
Yep.
Is that more of an issue, less of an issue?
Why'd you have to go there, bro? Why'd you? هذا القسم man. Silk bloody underwear for males. I think that's the worst.
I'm sure it
What? He goes, he goes, what's all that about? What is all that about, Yara? We have lost control in this dars, bro. There is no one ask about Shazad's silk underpants except me. Okay? No one. No, oh, right. He was asking about ties. He was talking about ties.
What was he saying about ties?
Yeah.
Everybody's thinking about the underwear.
No, I'm just saying, no one is allowed to talk about Shazad's silk under alaykum salam other than me, and that's what we do in private. It's not for public consumption. So I'd ask you to respect that, okay? But it's not great, is it?
And about gold plating.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, they say that you could wear gold plated jewelry, for example, as a man.
Yeah.
So where does that?
According to Sheikh Uthaymeen, okay, not allowed, okay, and that's why when he said in his opening line, along with the Hanabila, all right, their idea is that it doesn't have to be majority gold, part gold, but as long as real gold is there and it comes across. Frankly, gold plating, what happens? You can't tell whether the thing is gold all the way through or it's not. That guy is going to have to say to you, because what will you say? You say, is that real gold? He says, nah, it's gold plating, right? So what is that? You've got the impression that you wanted. You're starting to feel what you're feeling. You're touching that in the way that you're using it. Okay. Remember, we said in the second or third year, it's permissible to use gold in this and that and to eat and blah blah. We would discuss that in a lot of detail, gold then. But now we're talking a very different use of gold. Gold in its feminine way, a silk in its feminine reality. So the question that we should be asking now is it just gold? Is it just clothes? What about pillows, cushions, the sheets, all that kind of stuff? What do you reckon about that? What do you think? Should the illah continue? Is there, should we base it upon an illah, or should we look for a hadith? What should we do?
You're not going to see it. No one's going to see it, first of all.
Okay, so now you're saying that if silk was impermissible because of other people's perceptions, then it's no problem because it's not being seen. We pause there and we say, who on earth said that silk was about other people's perception? It is a this is where we differentiate between the hikam and the ilal. The wisdom of something being prohibited, i.e. what other people think when they see it. But the illah, we are confident that the illah is the effect on you as a person. What it does to you, in terms of, and I think that will become clearer when you see the exceptions. When you see the exceptions, those exceptions are such realities that even if you are feeling a negative because of the silk and it was changing your kind of whole, mizaj, okay, it's not because you are actually in need and you will feel pain for some other reason, if that makes sense. Yeah. And to the Prophet ﷺ, he said, in the Hadith Bukhari, the Prophet ﷺ prohibited and najlisa alay, yani, and that not only are we prohibited to wear dibaj and harir and silk and so on and so forth, but we were also prohibited to sit on it as well. And so now that's why there is a consensus. Imam al-Nawawi said a consensus, except one statement from Ibn Rushd, that the sitting on the cushion, which is silk, is impermissible. But then they said, okay, what about a sheet? Sheet is not something that you sit on. It's something that you pull over and so on. And they took the hadith literally, right? They said if the hadith means only that which is sat upon, then silk, drapes that you touch and so on and so forth, or not drapes, but things that you are, holding and touching, then all of those should be permissible because it's only the hadith. My opinion is that a silk pillow, a silk sheet, these are problematic. Even though, yes, there is no nas which clearly, absolutely states that these are impermissible, but it's something which we should be really careful about. Because there's no doubt that when a person touches and feels a silk sheet, it's the same thing. He holds it soft and holds it close to his face and all the rest of it, whatever. I think it's an area of concern. We can't say it's out and out impermissible because the Nas talks about wearing it, you're not wearing it, and the Nas says that you can't sit on it, you're not sitting on it. But then you've got a sheet. Where does that fall into? Some people said that when you put the sheet around you, what are you doing? You're wearing it. You're touching it. You're physically, in contact with it. So, anyway, go on.
What for ladies?
Ladies is permissible. Ladies, it is permissible in every single form. In every single form, without any exception. For males, it is impermissible except in the list that is now going to come. Just yes.
So when we were talking
Afwan as-salah, Sheikh?
Salah past half past.
Okay. Yeah.
when you said that imitation silk is okay, but if it was like looking like real silk, then that would be problematic. So when we have imitation gold jewelry now, which really looks like real gold,
For males,
for males, is that problematic? as
yeah,
well? Because it's just metal.
the question is that okay, silk, you're saying that if silk looks like silk, to be honest, I'm not so fussed about the looking like, but the artificial, when we talk about artificial, I'm worried about the feeling like, because artificial silk we said is halal. But if you're wearing a silk artificial shirt that has got to the level that it's got to silk or beyond, then that kind of feeling is like, it's not a man's feeling. A man should not be feeling like that. Yeah? I mean, I'm only speaking from personal experience. When I've touched silk on my body, I don't like that whole gay scene at all. Right? Just don't like it. So that's what I guess is the feeling that we're coming to. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So, what were we saying?
About
Artificial gold or gold imitation. Those things which come across as gold, whatever. You see, here's the problem. Once you start to lose confidence in imitation stuff and start to consider all of it impermissible or makruh, then you're going against the Nas. The Nas does not talk about imitation and is allowed. We have to be careful about our Sharia that we do not make impermissible that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has allowed. However, we also have our senses. And we should see that if there are certain things or whatever that are creating an impact which is similar, then out of ihtiyat we should stay away. Yeah? I mean, it's not, this is, I'm going to say something, no scholar can confidently, very happily answer these questions. No scholar. They're often asked, what about a platinum ring that I buy for my husband? That classic one. Okay? We say, yeah, it's permissible. But I want you to think, if people are seeing platinum and that platinum is making that guy feel in a certain way, whatever, whatnot, then that becomes a problem. In general, platinum is not going to make a man feel effeminate. It just makes a man feel expensive. And then we go back to the issue of the last few weeks. Is there a problem in spending a lot of money or feeling expensive? No. It's just not, there's nothing prohibiting feeling expensive or spending a lot of money. Gold is not prohibited for males because it's expensive or it's showing wealth. It's because of its effeminate effect that it leaves upon the male psyche and practical disposition, etc., etc. Okay? Yeah.
I have a weird scenario. So if let's say there's a guy who has long hair and it's curly, they recommend that it's not like matted the way that a cotton pillowcase would. So is that saying that, like, let's say he just doesn't want to do his hair every single day because that's effeminate. So he wants to get the pillowcase, but then he's caring too much about his hair. Is that also like?
With that saying that basically there is some idea out there that, you know, folks with long hair and whatever, that silk basically does not ruin the whole kind of the style of it and saves on time and whatever of redoing it again. So would that be a permissible use of it? As you'll see from the exceptions, I don't think that that's an acceptable use. It doesn't come under a need, doesn't come under a difficulty, doesn't come under the different ones. And we'll argue for a minute. We'll argue his case in a minute. So just to finish off this particular part before we come to the exceptions, the Shaykh says, وَمَا هُوَ أَكْثَرُ ظُهُورًا عَلَى الذُّكُورِ. Okay, so he says that therefore, and also that which is, it's not just silk. Where's our translation, Shaz? What did I do with it? Yeah. Garments made of silk, or that which the majority of it appears to be from silk. Okay? Meaning that if there is therefore, so what does majority mean? 51%. Isn't it? We've covered the numbers before. Yes? We said about dhann is and shak and this and akthar and kada. So 51%. Once you hit that number, or in the reality, because you're never going to be able to cut it down to 1%, but when the majority of it looks like that it is made of silk, then it takes the ruling of al-kull. Okay, and that's according to a number of scholars, because there are some, you know, issues here. Anyway, then the Shaykh says, wearing silk, he makes just a point. What kind of sin is it? Yani, is it a minor sin or is it a major sin? يعني من الصغائر ولا الكبائر? What do you think? Kaba'ir? Saghair? Okay. So the Prophet ﷺ in a hadith, he said, من لبس الحرير في الدنيا لم يلبسه في الآخرة. That whoever wears silk in this dunya will not wear it in the akhirah. Hadith which is narrated by Bukhari in Kitab al-Libas. Okay. So, question. What kind of statement is being made here? Because one of the signs that we know of a kabira, a major sin, is where there's a threat, a wa'id. Okay? Is this hadith a threat? Yes? What do you, yani, what are the possible understandings of this hadith?
There's two ways you can see, like, you know.
Go on, Bob, say it first.
Anything that you get in, if you're going to get barred from anything from Jannah,
Yep.
that's
a negative.
That's a negative.
That's a negative.
Punishment effective.
Is a punishment? Is it?
It's a privilege that's taken away.
It's a privilege which is taken away. Is a privilege in Jannah that's taken away, does that fit with the Jannah model?
The level.
Might be saying he's not going to Jannah.
Level of the Jannah. Yeah.
So this was in the opinion of a number of the scholars, that the meaning of this hadith is that he will not go to Jannah. Because why? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَفِيهَا مَا تَشْتَهِي الْأَنفُسُ. Okay? Yani, in Jannah, there are things that all the people will want. And you're going to want silk in Jannah. Okay? There are hadith that talk about silk so much in Jannah. And so therefore, if you are not going to wear it, and you are always getting what you want, it means therefore you're not going. This is one of the meanings. Shaykh Uthaymeen goes into another number of different opinions. He goes, maybe it also could mean that a person will go to Jannah and the desire for it will be taken away. Does that make sense? That he will go in, he's trying to make Jama' basically. He will go to Jannah, because that's a big statement to say that a person who wears silk is not going to go Jannah. And none of the scholars really came to this kind of conclusion in any serious numbers, okay, in terms of ulama. However, if you look at this point, he's saying, okay, maybe he will go in and the desire to actually want to have silk will be taken away. So I'll ask you a question. Is Jannah a place where we go to have our desires taken away?
Well, don't you have different levels, like the people who are like better in iman or deeds or whatever?
So the darajat that differ
Yeah.
in Jannah,
So doesn't that imply that?
there are certain people that will have certain things. It's a good point, isn't it?
No, because the lowest level is going to be better than anything you've got here.
Okay.
But it's not better than the higher levels.
There has to be some difference, right?
Yeah, the difference isn't going to be the deprivation of things things that exist in this earth.
Sheikh Walid, how do you answer this in forever? Tell us, Sheikh, because Sheikh, of course, has a class on Jannah in forever. How do you answer this question? How do we practically explain to folks the difference in what people are getting when everyone is getting what they want at the lowest level?
Basically, you have similar cases like
Sheikh, you know what? It's your time to come up anyway. So you might as well come now. Tafadhal, Sheikh. No, seriously, it's your time anyway. We had the thingy, remember?
It's a similar case.
Don't try it. Tafadhal, Sheikh. Yeah, come on. We can't hear you anyway, Sheikh. Come on, tafadhal, Sheikh. Come on, don't let me get up.
I was just thinking about the one who said the lower level of Jannah, so the lower level get artificial.
Listen, hey, hold on, Sheikh. No, don't sit down.
Please.
Don't sit down. The camera doesn't go there.
No, it's okay.
The camera doesn't go there.
It's okay.
You can't see on the camera, Sheikh Allah yahdik. Okay, come this way. Come this way.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. There is similar case to this, which is the one who drinks alcohol. That the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam also told us that he will not drink from the khamr of the dunya, of the Jannah. He will not begin. And the ulama rahimahullah said that this is a punishment for that person if that person doesn't repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I think the strongest way is to look at that is to say that he will be prevented from that. So it's umuma khusus. Everybody gets to wear the silk except those who wear the silk in the dunya and never repented from it, and it's never forgiven to them that sin because of their tawbah, that they will be punished by not having to wear the silk. The issue of he will not desire the silk and stuff like that, very hard for me to see this is a very good argument. It's the same way when people try to, for example, say he will not desire the khamr, he will not desire to enter from Bab al-Rayyan, because as we all know, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Bab la yadkhul minhu illa sa'imun. But many ahadith said, يدخل من أي أبواب الجنة الثمانية شاء. So some scholars said the same logic. They said he will not desire to enter from Bab al-Rayyan. And this way it doesn't make much sense, actually, to me at least, because it's very hard to twist it this way. What it make more sense with the consistent message in Sharia is that this is umum and this is khusus. So this is basically an exception made to the rules. And I just want to also mention just a couple of points, just to understand the counter argument. For example, those ulama who said that the artificial silk.
Just 1 second before we go back to that.
Yeah.
Just Sheikh Uthaymeen, that was his chosen position. He said that it is that he will lose the desire for it, but he also, just for you know, so that everyone knows, he also said, and he said Allahu A'lam, that he will not get it for a little while. Ila mudda, yani, it will be taken away from him a long time. And he just also gives an interesting example, which I think works against him. Wallahu A'lam. He said the example of a person who has no desire for it is like the one who's ill, and there's a great food. I saw this yesterday. I went to visit someone who was sick in hospital, and you know, I was saying, listen, let me save you from this nonsense that you're eating. I'm going to bring you some great food. He goes, you know, I don't like it. And that's not him speaking, you know, that's not him. I know that when he comes out, he's going to smash that food. He's going to love it. And so what's happened there? He's lost his sense of taste for that type of food. So Sheikh then he goes, this is naqsan fi ma'kali, this is a deficiency in himself to actually appreciate the beauty, but he doesn't feel any negative as a result of it. Yeah, for him that's just all that he knows. Now for me, and I think also for you, this is still a deficiency. It doesn't fit with the model of Jannah, that a person is doesn't have that
everything
ability that he wants.
But who said that you have everything that you wish in Jannah? That's not true statement. That's not the generality of it. It's not true statement, because what if I wish to be in the Prophet state or level?
I think that there are lawazim that can't happen. Those are paradoxical, aren't they?
There's tens of examples, not only one, that I can tell you it's not going to happen. for you in Jannah. So if you, it doesn't take it literally like that.
But aren't those mostly theological and ideological? Like, it's not going to be material, is it? You will get everything that you materially want.
You will not have higher level. You will not, for example, where this desire came from, you will not desire to be in higher level.
Right.
So you are in 6. You're not going to desire to be in 100. You're not going to desire, because what you have at level 6, let's assume, is completely satisfaction. So the same thing. Whatever clothes you will be giving, even if it's not made of harir al-Jannah, you will feel very satisfied with whatever you have. That you don't
even
feel,
have that desire to go higher.
And you will not, when it like, لا يرى أحدهم أنه أنقص من صاحبه. The hadith of Ibn Majah. No one feel that he's less. So that's why you don't. Why do we desire things that we don't have? Because I feel like I'm missing it. So this does not exist. You feel like you're the best. That's why the lowest level in Jannah, he thinks that he's the highest. It just an interesting feeling. It completely different than what we have here. That's why it's kind of hard to grasp that, and I explained that in forever.
Sheikh, the ayah in the Quran though, it says like, you will get what you desire. Is that how we explain this? Because the person in the Jannah, he will have an understanding, okay, there are levels of the Jannah. So what I've got is this. And then
this is the extent of my desire.
Yeah.
What I can even perceive as a desire. This is basically what you're saying.
Yeah. But it doesn't, you can't take that literally, like everything can be desired will be given.
And the thing we said before about the silk. So if a person, it's a sin, right? It's a sin, a person, you said, he should do tawbah in the dunya, then he can have that in the Jannah.
Yes.
But if he doesn't do tawbah, then he will be mahroom from that. Now, what about a person if he...
Or, I was going to say also, العلماء رحمه الله said, or someone like استحله, يعني he never cared for it and he feels it's okay, and like it's not someone who feels it's a sin. And Al-Bayhaqi mentioned something similar to that as well.
Yeah, and what Sheikh is trying to say is that it's not simply just the fact that he wore silk, but there had to be associated other things with it as well to be able to get this particular punishment.
But this statement, Sheikh, does it not contradict that a person, only the tayyibun, tahirun, they'll be the one only enter the Jannah, meaning the person will be punished in the fire before for his sin, and then he will be pure from that, and then he will enter the Jannah. Do you get my point?
Yeah.
Because it's a sin from the hadith here. So whether it's saghir or kabir, but the person, rather than making him mahroom from the actual silk itself in the Jannah, why this person not be purified from the hellfire? That person, is that because of the mercy, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy is taken over, or is it just because he's been allowed in there without being purified, and now he will be mahroom from that? Because that doesn't really make sense.
It does. As you know, people on Jannah are levels according to their deeds. So you can treat them equal. So the one who left this for the sake of Allah, who didn't touch the khamr, who didn't touch the silk, no doubt it's in higher level than the one who did. So even when forgiven, even in Jannah, it makes perfect sense. So being punished for it, or even not punished, being forgiven, your good deeds outweigh your bad deeds. It doesn't mean that you're
going to be as high as someone else.
It doesn't mean that you're not going to be specifically held accountable for this, because there is a nas in it. There's khusus.
Sheikh, the artificial.
I want to say, but for the artificial, those who allowed the artificial, because they said علة التحريم هي الحرير.
The actual silk itself, the fact that
is the reason for its haram. That's why.
Not perception, not what its effects, not X, not Y, just the fact that it comes from this silkworm, that it has been made from this thing, the silk itself.
Yeah.
Silk ties. I mean.
So the silk itself is the reason for making this haram. It's not because it's feminine or non-feminine or anything like that, or it looks or perceived. Like what Shaykh Jazakallah Khair just said. The hadith in al-Bukhari that the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam forbade sitting on it. So sitting on it has nothing to do with being feminine or not feminine. That's the illah in it, it's because it's harir. So if it is harir, it's not allowed to be used. No. One of the hikam, like the Sheikh earlier said, there's a difference between the ilal and the hikam. One of the hikam, it is because it looks feminine. But I just give an example that I have seen silk clothes in Malaysia, for example, and that part of the world, and it's not feminine. It's actually this long dress that they wear.
For males.
Yeah, for males.
Real silk.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's artificial silk most likely, but it doesn't look like a feminine. You know, so it looks like just
a nice high quality male
kurta. You know, I don't know what they call their thing, and it's artificial silk, and it doesn't look feminine. Maybe a shirt, like in a Western kind of, you know, clothes. Maybe it kind of looks, but I can think of certain examples that I have seen artificial silk that can be not necessarily look feminine even.
The point is, it's very difficult to make it haram without a nas.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why they said artificial silk cannot take the silk. Also, since the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Hadani haramun ala dhukuri ummati halalul inathihim," these both are haram for my men, for the men, and halal for the women. Then the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam made exception for the harir. That's right. He said, "Illa hakada." I think.
Yeah,
did you cover that?
No, it's coming next
so
week.
that's also the same thing. Based on this hadith, the ulama rahimahullah allowed qalil al-dhahab, that's the small amount of gold, if it is part of the zina, will be allowed. It's like the small amount of harir. It is allowed. They made the qiyas, the analogy, based on this hadith. I just want you to understand their perspective, where they're coming from. So they said, since the Prophet ﷺ made an exception, harir, and the harir and the dhahab came together in the hadith, so also the dhahab, the gold, can be made an exception for it. And there is another issue also that's very interesting, is that means using gold in any form, in any fashion, haram. You know, we know for sure it's not allowed as a utensils, like what you covered before. And you know for sure it's not allowed for men to be a jewelry. Okay? And one of the things that I think it's worth looking at in modern days, that the concept of jewelry today is became very, like, watch, would you consider jewelry? You know, it's an interesting debate. Okay, a pen, do you consider that a jewelry?
What the tooth?
You know, tooth is different case. Tooth is different, because the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam allowed Arfajat to put a nose made of the gold. So the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam allowed him, when he put a silver, the tip of his nose was cut off. So he put a silver, and it became rotten, because silver is not pure. Usually it's mixed with other elements. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, put gold instead. So the tooth and the nose surgery, like cosmetic surgery, is a different case. But let's say the issue of pen, you know, like is that allowed? Is that considered even a jewelry, pen today? And in my opinion, I don't know, but I would love to hear what you say, what you think. I think this is all today using up, especially it depends how you use it, but in most of the cases, people use it as a form of jewelry to beautify themselves. That's why I love what Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, when he discussed the issue of how much of gold is allowed to be used. And maybe this is a little bit different understanding for me from the word istihala here means. I have a different understanding for the word istihala. Shaykh al-Islam rahimahullah said, yes, we look at the amount, how much of gold is involved. Is it a lot or small? But he mentioned something very interesting. He said we have to look at al-maqsood fi isti'mal. What is the gold is used for? So I heard the Dr. Uthman just saying earlier, appearance, and he said the underwear doesn't appear. Actually, it appear. Appearance here, it doesn't mean appear to the public. Appear, it means you can see it. But what doesn't appear, it's when you have inside this watch. إيش عقارب الساعة بالإنجليزي؟
The cogs. Yeah,
The house.
the part of the
Parts of the watch.
Yeah,
there's a name for the whole
basically
thing.
what's inside your watch.
Cogs.
The ulama said
Cogs.
if this is made of gold, it's allowed because it's not appear. So its cover is not something, it's basically inside. So what I think Shaykh Hassan rahimahullah is saying, it depends. So if the gold is used for the purpose of purification, it doesn't matter, it became haram. But if it's not meant to be hilya, and it was part of it, and it's not the main use of the item, it is allowed. Okay? So if it will change part of it, and the example that they give, or this argument, where it came from the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam telling us that it's not allowed for you to drink from a cup made of what? Gold or silver. But still the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what did he do?
Fixed it.
He put that crack, he filled it with what? With silver. Why would he allow that? لأنه ما أخرج الإناء عن معناه. It is still considered a metal cup. Nobody will say this is a silver cup, because that piece of silver did not change the reality of the cup as a ina hadid, as a cup made of iron, cup made of whatever metal that was. You see what I'm saying? But if you put so much decoration, so much fill, it will say that's a silver cup, a gold cup. Okay, so if this is the case, that became haram. But if it is very small, doesn't change the entity of it, and to become called a gold, let's say a gold watch, and it's a gold pen, or let's say the head of the pen only made of gold will be allowed, because it doesn't say that's a pen, gold pen, and so forth. As for other than that, Shafi'i rahimahullah is the most lenient madhab in this, and the San'ani as well, and other ulama. They said the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he forbade, he said لا تشربوا, and he didn't say لا تستعملوا. So they said it's used, but I think this is like, but I just want to be aware the Shafi'iyya are very lenient in this area, and for them it became another issue of israf, but if you're going to follow that path, I don't see how strong argument this is, because would you allow a car painted with gold, a rims made of gold in your car, a faucet made of gold, all this like the filthy rich people do in their I don't think the Sharia, principle Sharia allowed things of that nature, but some of the ulama will say no, there is no proof for tahrim. You might say it's dislike, you might say that, but the Shafi'iyya will take that position, rahimahumullah, because there is no proof to say it's haram. The proof is very restricted to the eating and hilya.
Who remembers the position that we took, and in year 2 and 3 when we did this? With that? Chopped. Shazad?
For the pen?
For all, exactly what Shaykh Walid just said. All of this, we did this in year beginning year 3. What was our conclusion?
Wasn't it the same of what he just
Yes, correct. It was exactly as Shaykh Walid just said. So that's good.
Yeah, so for the clothes, for the hadith, I also know there is a common factor about the silk, the
handkerchief.
Handkerchief. Okay, they put it. Also, sometimes comes made of silk. There is a Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and you guys gonna study that hadith Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, if I'm not mistaken, that he naha an al-hariri illa muqatta'a, and all the discussion inshallah will come into it.
Give that then. Who wants to make that then?
You bringing them donuts today?
This is because Bobby had me.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Ashhadu an la أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد كما صليت على ابراهيم وعلى ابراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى محمد كما باركت على ابراهيم وعلى ابراهيم في العالمين انك حميد مجيد اللهم رب هذه الدعوه التامه والصلاه القائمه ات محمد وسلم.
If there is anything I just want to say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in Surah Adam alayhi salam, in the Qissat Adam, story of Adam, that Allah said that one of the ultimate goal of the shaitan يُرِيهُمَا مَا يُبْدِيَ لَهُمَا مَا وُورِيَ عَنْهُمَا مِنْ سَوْآتِهِمَا. One of the ultimate goal of the shaitan is to expose the aura of the human being. That's a goal. So his goal was to, because the jinn have no clothes on, they don't, it's not like us. And Adam alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him the clothes, dress him up, libasa warisha. One of the favorite of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is upon us is to give us this ability to cover our aura, to cover ourselves. You see, animals, they don't dress unless, until these modern days we start buying clothes for animals. But before animal, they don't have clothes. Their aura is not covered. And human beings are not like that. So those who want a human being to be like animals and to show their aura and to expose their aura, it just goes against what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants for us. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala khalaqa is, and He wants the best for human being. So keep that in mind, that one of the goals of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to cover your aura, is to be covered and modest. One of the goals of the shaitan and awliya shaitan is to expose your aura. That's why it goes against the pure fitrah. One of the companions, Abu Darda, if I'm not mistaken, when he saw a group of people naked, went to the river. Then he said, لَأَنْ أَمُوتَ ثُمَّ أُنْشَرْ لَأَنْ أَمُوتَ ثُمَّ أُنْشَرْ. Die then resurrect, die then resurrect, die and come back to life, and die 3 times. Much easier than to do that. Just to kill a strip naked and walk into the river. Today, أعوذ بالله, nothing like almost men and women exposing their aura in many different ways. If we are supposed to cover our aura in the most pure state we can be in, which is as-salah. As-salah between you and Allah, nobody else. But in the masjid, and you focusing on ibadah and dua, and you're not supposed to show your aura. So what do you think of a time of fitan and outside the salah and outside the masjid and no doubt that this is also not right. And unfortunately, this issue today of exposing and dressing but not dressing, one of alamat as-sa'a, kasiyatun ariyat, and this is applied to men as well. Some men, kasi ari, he's dressed and not dressed, so tight, so revealing, and it's really a big issue today that this the proper way of dressing. I always say there is no such Islamic dress. It means conditions. It doesn't mean style. But there is conditions has to exist in our dress. So I hope, inshallah ta'ala, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us sitr and to make us able to raise our children upon تعظيم العورات والحرمات. يعني it's a big issue to expose your awra. It's a major issue for girls, for boys, and to be modest in the way you dress and you come outside your home. جزاكم الله خير صلى الله عليه وسلم.
بارك الله فيك شيخ. جزاك الله خير. So okay, so we'll close that. I think that's very relevant. Actually, obviously we are doing shurut al-salah and we are still in the chapter of the awra, in principle, and all of us know just how desensitized we have come to nakedness. That's the real problem. There's a big difference, subhanAllah, that if you are speaking to, for example, if a sister is speaking to a guy who's wearing, short shorts, or a man who's speaking to a woman who is uncovered and wearing, like a cut top or whatever. There's a difference between criticizing her and attacking her for it and saying shame, which is one aspect of your action and your response to her, and the much more important thing, which is the desensitizing effect it's having on you in your heart, and how just soft you're becoming on the issue. And especially in school, when you're not there in this country, nakedness in our definition, of course, is not nakedness, but nakedness of the places that we would all cover. That's something becoming a norm. So Jazakallah khair to the Shaykh. And
this society shift,
yes,
when you read,
moving quickly as well. Quickly,
you read the fight over bathing suits and bikinis and stuff like that. How it was big issue before, and take them years. There's shaitan working on people to make sure that they accept that. It became a norm. It's amazing how people just not long time ago. You see all the, I don't know, I would assume here the same thing, but you look at the Western, American, for example, ladies on here, how they dress. I was in the museums. I'm not talking about 1,000 years ago. I'm talking about not what,
20, 30,
less
40
than
years, yeah.
40 years ago, it was good. In a good sense, I want to say also good positive things. My father, which is the generation of the 40s and 50s, for Egypt, for example, he used to say, it's a common thing in Egypt that women would be wearing miniskirts. That's the norm at one point. It's a very common thing at that time. You will not find Egypt today like that. Hijab, alhamdulillah, is popular. So alhamdulillah, there is among the Muslimin any good, and we should encourage that.
So it's time for Salah now. So just want to say that obviously there's a lot of stuff and gifts. Please, sisters, hang about until after the Salah is finished, after the Sunnah Nafil. Likewise, the brothers, then we'll distribute that afterwards, okay? Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Oh, and those guys online, yes, we are going to do the Salah. And those guys online can see Sheikh Waleed this weekend. He's teaching torchbearers in London. So if you haven't studied it, then get down this weekend, inshallah. This Friday it starts in London. Go to almaghrib.org/London. Jazakumullah khair. Subhanakallah wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Not this weekend. Oh, sorry, beg your pardon. Next weekend.
No, I'm this week. Ammar, you have it in Manchester next week.
Oh, sorry, you got confused. I was like, wait. So this weekend, and Ammar is in. Yes. MashaAllah, Sheikh Waleed's son-in-law, Ammar Shukri, will be here next weekend teaching His Majesty on the Asma Allah al-Husna. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam prayed without covering his head. So I don't cover my head, I pray.
الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. لا خير في كثير من نجواهم إلا من أمر بصدقة أو معروف أو إصلاح بين الناس ومن يفعل ذلك ابتغاء مرضات الله فسوف نؤتيه أجرا عظيما ومن يشاقق الرسول من بعد ما تبين له الهدى ويتبع غير سبيل المؤمنين نوله ما تولى ونصله جهنم وساءت مصيرا إن الله لا يغفر أن يشرك به ويغفر ما دون ذلك لمن يشاء ومن يشرك بالله فقد ضل ضلالا بعيدا إن يدعون من دونه إلا إناثا وإن يدعون من دونه إلا شيطانا مريدا لعنه الله وقال لأتخذن من عبادك نصيبا مفروضا ولأضلنهم ولأمنينهم ولآمرنهم فليبتكن آذان الأنعام ولآمرنهم فليغيرن خلق الله ومن يتخذ الشيطان وليا من دون الله فقد خسر خسرانا مبينا يعدهم ويمنيهم وما يعدهم الشيطان إلا غرورا يعدهم ويمنيهم وما يعدهم الشيطان إلا غرورا ومن يتخذ الشيطان وليا من دون الله فقد خسر خسرانا مبينا أولئك مأواهم جهنم وساءت مصيرا أولئك مأواهم جهنم لا يجدون عنها محيصا الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها وأخرجت الأرض أثقالها وقال الإنسان ما لها يومئذ تحدث أخبارها بأن ربك أوحى لها يومئذ يصدر الناس أشتاتا ليروا أعمالهم فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يره ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يره. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. Allahu Akbar. أعوذ بالله. الحمد لله. Allahu Akbar. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أستغفر الله أستغفر الله أستغفر الله أستغفر الله أستغفر الله. السلام. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. I just want a quick comment on the issue of wearing hat when you pray. First of all, I don't wear anybody's hat for medical reasons, so I can't wear somebody else's hat because of medical reasons for me. So otherwise, I will not turn the sheikh down, because you are allowed to wear a hat when you pray. But where is this concept of covering your head came from when you pray? Why there so many people think that you should cover your head? We all know your hair or your head is not out, you're not a woman to cover your head. So where this concept came from? This concept came from the fuqaha rahimahullah talked about when you come to pray and you stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered us, Ya bani Adam, khudhu zinatakum inda kulli masjid. When you come to the salah, you should beautify yourself. And for the longest time in the culture of the Muslims, especially in the even non-Muslim, the culture was uncovering your head. It's not a form of respect. So if you come out of your house, you should wear a hat, you should wear, I live in America, until today, I live in Texas, until today a proper Texan will have his cowboy hat on when he comes out. Consider this respect. I lived in Saudi Arabia. It is when we say, for example, الرجال يغطي راسه. If you're a man, cover your head with the shmar, with the utra. It's a culture thing. Whenever you don't cover your head, it's considered something not a very respectful way to stand or to meet someone that you respect, not covering your head. So that was for a very long time the culture of the people. So they consider it out of the proper clothes they should wear when you stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is to cover your head. Like if you can't meet a human being, a respectful one, or an older gentleman, or someone that you respect, you should cover your head when you go outside your house. You should do the same when you stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not because there is ayah in the Quran or there is a hadith says cover your head. We don't have anything in the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ said that. So it's a pure culture practice. It's a pure culture practice. Today in our culture, covering the head or not covering the head is not a form of disrespect. It's not a form of you don't look professional, you don't look good, or you don't look right, or a form of I disrespect you just because I met you without covering my head, or I welcome you to my house without covering my head. The culture have completely shifted. And how do we know that this is a culture, not a religious practice? Because if it was a religious practice from the Prophet ﷺ, he would have stated that. He would have made that ruling clear. How many times we pray? 5 times a day. How many times the Prophet ﷺ prayed? Hundreds of thousands of times. If this is something the Prophet ﷺ want to make sure that the Ummah would practice and he should do it, he would have said it, he would have stated it, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Just because the Prophet ﷺ covered his head, because that's part of his culture. That's why Nabi ﷺ also pray without covering his head. And if it's a form of disrespect or it's a form of a bad thing to do, we would have doing it in Hajj and Umrah. That's right, even in Hajj and Umrah, you cover your shoulder because it's not right to uncover your shoulder when you stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, before even he put the ihram on, he prayed 2 rak'ah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and nothing was in his head sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So the issue of praying without covering your head, the whole entire argument in the fuqaha rahimahullah, just because you consider it a proper clothes, this is the proper dress, this is not appropriate to be standing without covering your head. But this is a pure culture. We call this in usul al-fiqh sunnat aada or sunnat ibadah. It's a part of the culture of the Arabs at that time. But as you know, culture changed from one time to another, from one place to another. Otherwise, I don't have a problem with it. I will used it, but for medical reasons, I never do that and then go train someone else. And also, I would like the community to be aware, so we understand where this is coming from. It's about time for our Muslim community just not to take things without understanding what's the reasoning behind it, what's the logic behind it, what's the history behind it, and so forth.